Hey, what's up? This is PJ Jacobson. Make sure you watch MotoAmerica on YouTube and you like and subscribe.
It's time for the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship. The round, Superbikes at Alabama, our 10th and final round of 2022. We're at Barber Motorsorts Park in Birmingham, Alabama. It may be our final race weekend, but SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup, it is our race number 1 for the weekend. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the broadcast booth. I'm Greg White, standing alongside two-time world champ Jason Pridmore. Now, Jason, when we look at everything that's happened in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup this season, it all comes down to Cody Wyman, who has a 20-point lead in this championship.
Yeah, and really, Greg, it was the first race in New Jersey that I'll remember. We talked so much about Cody not making errors throughout the course of the year, building up a points advantage, and then having that accident in race 1 really hurt his points. Race 2, though, on the second day, Greg, he was able to come back and get a podium with an injured ankle.
And you can see he's leading this championship 264 to 244 over Gus Rodeo, and they're equal on wins and equal on podiums, but it's just they're so close. Rodeo, Yakov, and Lemandry Jr. all in the mix and mathematically possible. But it's all about Cody Wyman, who leads by 20, and he's with Hannah Loper right now.
Cody Wyman has the potential to clinch the championship in race 1. Cody, how are you feeling heading into this first race today?
A little battered up. I think we all are. It's been a long year, but you know, it'd be great to clinch it today, but you got 2 races. I just got to be smart, just keep it clean, and hopefully put a number 1 on this thing.
Well, Jason, I think that 5 points over the rest of the field, it's all he needs, and he can clinch this thing. It's got to be weighing on him a little bit.
It does, but he has a very easy scenario today. If he wins the championship. And I know it sounds easy, and I probably made that sound a little too easy, but for Cody, he's already got pole position this weekend, so he's right here ready to fight. That ankle must be feeling pretty good. His goal is to try to go out and win this race.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting race, but we're going to hand it to our MotoAmerica Live Plus crew right now. Here's Robbie and Roger. They'll take it from here.
Thanks a lot, fellas. There's Kayla Yakova. They went through the point scenario, and yeah, you don't want to count out Joe Lemandry. There's a possibility in there. And when you have a competitive class and/or division like this, then you know anything can happen. A lot of times it does happen. And also, when you're talking about the youth, they can throw caution to the wind, and they do, especially at the end of the season.
I was going to say exactly, you know, like you said, was kids, you know, just out there. They can make mistakes as they're learning, and you can make up a lot of points. And all these kids have a lot of pressure on them right now. They're all kind of going for this championship.
Yeah, and again, you forget just how young some of these guys. Now, Cody's not young. I don't want to give him a hard time. Some of these kids still be in high school. You know, I mean, they'd be riding this weekend and going oftentimes to school on the next day. That's just part of the factor of this class. But Greg Kramer, you're down there again with one of the young bucks or buckettes.
I am indeed. As a matter of fact, the rider who sits second on the grid, third in the points, 32 points out, 50 available here. You're certainly in this with a hunt, but you've got some work to do, Kayla, but you seem to be flying around here.
Yeah, thank you. You know, today we're just going to have fun. That's all it's about. At the beginning of the season, didn't think I was going to be this close. So, and with all the bad luck we've had this year, it's great to be in it. Just hopefully have a clean race. Try to stay at the front of the group and, you know, avoid any of the carnage that might happen. So, you know, I'm really excited. I love this track so much. So it'll be a great race on the 400 here, and I'm looking for some good points.
What's your favorite part of this track?
That's a hard one. I think I love the whole track. I mean, it's great. I really like the, I guess you could say the third sector, the museum, and then the chicane. I really like. I like the whole track. It's all really fun.
It is a great layout, obviously, and you seem to be up on it really well here, so good luck in this one.
Thank you very much.
All right, what a season she has put together, and I am just going to wander back here and see if I can grab Spencer Humphreys. And Spencer has some experience on this track. Spencer, you ran here last year. We haven't seen a lot of you this season, but you show back up here at Barber, boom, right up in the fourth spot. Looking forward to this race?
Oh, definitely. I think it's definitely going to be a barn burner with everybody hungry for this championship. I'm just stoked to be here. I'm stoked that I'm on such a killer bike with such a killer team. Yeah, stoked.
So what are your plans maybe for next year? We're going to see you maybe come back and run this full season if possible?
I mean, depending on how today goes, I'm not sure. I mean, I haven't gotten any offers, but if anybody's watching, I'm available. So just hit me up. My Instagram's Spence Humphrey. So yeah, just let me know.
Absolutely. Well, you're certainly letting people know that you deserve to be here. Have a great race today.
Hey,
Thank you.
Hey, Greg, that's
All right.
awesome. That's
We're going to. I'm going to see if I can get over here and grab Gus Rodeo really quick.
Greg, that's how Roger used to pick up the ladies. Hey, ladies, I'm available. He was saying on the pit lane there.
Gus is getting his helmet on right now. Gus, very quickly as you're doing that, 20 points adrift. You know what the mission is here. That's got to just motivate you intensely. Get this win.
Yeah, like I said before, I don't know if I'd rather be 20 points up or 20 points down. You know, there's a lot of pressure all around, and we're going to see if we can take this to tomorrow and see what we can do.
Is this an opportunity? Okay, we're going to head out here. Gus, good luck. Have a good one. What a great season he's put together. It's time for us to be clearing the grid. I'm going to throw it back up to Robbie and Roger.
Thanks, bud. Yeah, getting to do that grid walk. I'm glad we had the opportunity to hear from Spencer going. And Roger, you got a job at the farm for him.
I got a job if he wants to move to Owensboro on the farm. Low pay, hard work though.
Hey, but the training is exceptional, right?
Yeah.
JD still making laps around there. Jake the Snake. You got Hayden Gillum.
JD for sure, and Jake.
So
yeah, if he wants to work on the farm, send his resume.
Yeah, we'll do it. And I know there's some hunters out there going, there's no such thing as a bucket. I was just throwing that in there. I was thinking, what, with fawn, a doe?
You could tell these kids in these interviews, the pressure's ramped up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They were all a little bit more tight than normal.
Yeah, and it's going to be that way for a while. I mean, and not only today, but they've still got to re-rack and restack and go do it tomorrow. You know, and you don't even think about it. Like Joe LeMandry's still with a possible shot out there. He's going to do everything possible to win this race and let the chips fall where they may. A guy like that, and you know, fourth in the championship, has nothing to lose.
Well, I think you'll see Kayla. She wants to maximize her points. Gus wants to win to maximize the points. Joseph LeMandry as well, and
Ryman rides defensively, maybe in that case.
Spencer Humphrey riding for a ride next year.
So will we see super aggressiveness from the ones that need those points, and B, maybe a defensive stance from Cody Wyman, because he cannot afford to throw the bike down right now?
I think Cody will not take many chances early in the race, but I think he'll do what he always does. He always kind of hangs out.
That's him.
He always hangs out about 5th or 6th, and then when the white flag's out, you see the 34 at the front of the pack. So he knows how to do it. He
finds something there. That bike's fast, though. But you're right. He usually hangs on to the pack. Just get me there with a chance, and then he starts getting aggressive towards the later end of that. Again, one of the traveling Wyman brothers. We got Cody, we got Travis, and we have Kyle that have already raced today and will race tomorrow. Still a little time before these guys and girls get going out there, a full field. They only pay up to the 15th place as they're going out for their first sighting lap. All the same bikes, all on Kawasaki's. We'd seen Yamahas in years past, seen a Honda in years past. We've seen KTM win a championship last year, but all Kawasaki's out there. Rider we haven't talked about also, a couple of them, Ryota Ojiwara, the Japanese rider, and Max Van qualifies 11th. The uncharacteristic.
Yeah, the last race didn't go so well for him. It's kind of carried over to this weekend as well, so hopefully the race he can turn it around.
And sponsored by SportbikeTrackGear.com, and they are the title sponsor of these juniors. And unfortunately, he had to go hit the shelves a little too often at New Jersey. But if anybody had parts, it's Max Van. One of the guys to look for is going to be Gus Rodeo. He's trying to win a championship. He's going to be starting on that front row. Look for him to be aggressive off the start as we send it to the guys next door.
Well, I think Cody Wyman's going to have his work cut out for him from pole position. Jason has Kayla Yakov a 1/10 of a second behind, and Gus Rodeo rounding out row number 1.
Yeah, all three of those in touch with the championship. Spencer Humphreys, really nice job getting fourth with Lamondre Jr. and Aiden Thau rounding out row 2. Bickneys, Ojiwara, Black, Owen Williams, Max Van. Unusual to see Max Van in 11th with Medina next to him. We have Vandal, Dreyer, Rivera, Clark, Elliott, and Desiree Caldwell back a little bit further, and then Logan Monk is going to be in row 7. Couple new faces, Greg?
Yeah, definitely. And it's going to be a very interesting race, Jason. And talking with Kayla Yakov earlier today, she was laying out her race strategy and how she thinks this whole thing is going to play out. And I can tell you that what she wants to see is her and Cody to try to break away from the rest of the field.
Yeah, well, she's just got to try to win. Everybody's in this. You know, the 34 right now has it in his hands. If he can go out and do the job he knows he can do, he's won already this year. In speaking with Cody, he says, you know, it hurts me more right now to walk than it does to ride. So that's actually a better thing.
All right, so 11 laps scheduled for SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup. Red lights go off. We're going racing. Clutches are out. It looked like a good launch from Yakov in the middle. Cody Wyman also got off the line pretty strong as they head down the hill into turn number 1. Yakov's going to make a bid up the inside. She'll take over the lead. Gus Rodeo not making it easy. Side by side with Cody Wyman. Wyman will give up the spot. And it looks like Rodeo goes up the inside. Wow. What a tight line on fresh tires.
Yeah, brand new tires. Cody's trying to get out front early and try to get away. I'm looking to see who's in 4th there, making a bid on Cody Wyman as they head down. It looks like it's Joe Lamondre Jr., I believe, Greg, who goes into 3rd there. Nice pass from Joe. Cody gets shuffled back to 4th early, and you can see it. Is that Spencer, I believe, on the inside as well. Spencer Humphreys also trying to make a bid for it. We saw him on the podium in New Jersey. Great to see them make the trip down here to Barber. So Kayla has taken the lead over Gus Rodeo with Joe Lamondre Jr. there in 3rd. Cody Wyman and Spencer Humphreys early on.
The field starting to sort itself out as Yakov leads the way. She's been fast all weekend long. In the first session, Yakov only did a couple of laps, put a time in, and was happy with that setup as Rodeo back up to the top spot. A nice easy pass underneath for Gus Rodeo.
That's literally what he needs, and you can see Spencer gets out a little bit wide there in 5th place. He's going to try to close that gap back down. What Cody wants to see in 4th as quickly as he can is he wants to see a +0 so he can run his own race and follow these 3 along, see how they kind of beat up each other, because you know they're going to be dicing with each other a lot. But Spencer's done a nice job of closing that gap back down there in 5th. They come across the line. Rodeo, Yakov, Lamondre, Wyman, Humphreys. Then we have Aiden Thau, Bickney's, Ojawara, Black, and Owen Williams round out the top 10.
Boy, I really like what I'm seeing with Gus Rodeo. Hannah, what do you think about Gus right now as they head off into turn 5? Will there be an attack on the number 96? No. So Hannah, he still leads the way, and he's going at it hard.
He does, Greg, and he was really pleased with the front row start. It was his best time ever here this morning. He went off of their Q1 setup from last year here, but they made a huge gearing change yesterday, and it helped, so they changed it even further this morning. They also went a whole spring rate stiffer than last year for elevation change and hard braking at this track. He's trying to make up points. He knows he's still in this championship fight, and he's certainly off to a good start out front.
He is. He got passed by Kayla Yakov, but he holds on to 2nd place as Joe Lamondre goes fastest lap of the race. Cody Wyman has been passed, so Wyman's starting to slip, Jay, down to 5th.
Yeah, he's back in 5th now, but, you know, there's a lot of racing left. We've made a lot of comments over the years.
Back up front.
She gets back up front as she goes through. Greg's checking off how many passes there are for the lead here, and Kayla, this was her going down the inside of Gus Rodeo as they went into turn 8. Gus would get back by, and then Kayla would get back by again. So now they're in this last sector of the track, but I expect Cody Wyman to kind of be smart, play this out, see how it goes, because he sees that Gus is going to have people there around him that are going to be battling. Joe Lamondre Jr. now in the draft of Gus Rodeo as they go down into turn 2. We have an incident, trying to see where that might be, Greg.
Yakov still leads. That might have been
just trying to look.
The 81 at Desiree Caldwell, perhaps?
Okay, and it looked like it was up in the turn 13 area. So I see the yellow flags going into 12, so it could have been up in the turn 13 area. So we'll keep an eye on that.
We saw Spencer Humphreys, the fastest lap of the race, a 136 flat. Here comes Lamondre trying to outbrake Kayla Yakov. You remember back here in the rain, Yakov, a favorite down into turn number 5, has got great feel on her Altus Motorsports Kawasaki Ninja 400 down into Charlotte's Web. Towards the museum we go. Yakov continues to lead. Joe Lamondre in 2nd spot. Good old Bazooka Joe getting after it. And there is Gus Rodeo in 3rd.
Yeah, these 5 now, and this is This is important for Cody now. If he can try to stay somewhat closer to these 3 or 4 in front.
Yeah, the most important thing for Cody is the gap, I think, behind him.
Yeah.
Because if that gap, as it grows late, and now there goes Rodeo.
Gets him there between Kiliakov and Lamondre Jr. as they come up over the top of the hill here into turns 14, 15, 16.
Keep in mind, it's a 20-point advantage for Wyman in this championship as we are rolling through this race, and there's only one more remaining in the season. The difference between first and fifth place, 14 points. So he would tighten things up, but I think that Wyman's got a plan.
I do too. I feel like Cody's just keeping his nose clean back there like we would expect him to do. He said coming into this weekend that he was here to ride smart. He's going to ride as hard as he can.
Gus.
See, Gus is able to really get that bike turned. Like you said at the beginning of the race, Caleb wasn't that far off the inside of the track there, but Gus just has so much confidence in the way his bike turns. She's going to come right back at him and try to outbrake him going down into Charlotte's Web. She's not going to be quite close enough as Gus gets in there just a little bit deeper as they come out of this turn now.
Also, I think position. Kayla was pretty far up the inside, and to get that bike turned, that's not like a constant radius corner, is it, Jason? You go down there a little tighter, and then it gets kind of weird right in the middle.
And it opens up, and with all the different classes, Kayla goes back down the inside, heading into turn 8. That is such a big committed pass to be able to do that. And, you know, for Kayla to go through there, that's a big move. Hannah?
And Jay, we're just 4 laps into this race. When I talked to Kayla, she said the first time she went out on new tires all weekend was this morning in warm-up, and she felt really good, like she had the pace to try to be consistent. She knew it was going to be a 5-rider group at the front here. She just wants to be smart, avoid the chaos, but she knows it's a really important weekend and wants to finish strong. As far as the bike goes, they adjusted the gearing for the race to help with corner exit. She's already getting really good drives in her warm-up session, so she might sacrifice some of that, but she knows she'll make up for it on the brakes.
Yeah, she's been really good there, hasn't she, Greg, this year?
Yeah, she certainly has. And here in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup, to give you an idea, there are 8 tires available for each rider to purchase. They cap that. Compared to Medallia Superbike, it's 16. So tire strategy on and off the racetrack makes a big difference.
Yeah, I love what I'm seeing right now out of Spencer Humphreys as well. Remember, Greg, he got on the podium at Jersey. Everybody knew Spencer that was up on the podium from the mini racing stuff up in the Northeast, and right now he is racing with the 4 that really have contested for this championship. We're only missing Max Van from this group. As you can see, Kayla now, Gus Rodeo, they're getting really close down there into turn 5, but for Spencer Humphreys, this is a kid that we're hoping that we're going to get to see more of next year, because look how well he's doing, Greg. Today he's battling for a win, and he could be a wild card in this whole little, the way the points kind of shuffle out today.
So Kayla Yakov leading now. A good look at Spencer Humphreys, the 19-year-old, the number 65. Going down to turn 5, Jay, this gets a little snug.
Yeah, you know what's really funny is they've all raced so good, so close together this year without any really big issues. And we saw a couple of the riders getting together at Laguna Seca and a couple other spots, but overall they have a way to give each other the room that they need to make these passes clean, and you can see that a lot. They're used to racing with each other, and Kayla back to the front. Looks like her and Gus are just kind of going back and forth right now, but Spencer's been getting a good run out of this last corner. Let's see if he can do the same thing and get past Gus.
Coming onto the front straightaway after this, there'll be 6 laps to go. Kayla Yakov trying to make a break. All the while, Spencer Humphreys in 3rd spot, trying to get around Gus Rodeo. Little over 5.5 laps to go as Kayla Yakov continues to lead. Yakov, who's been leaving that door open, at least according to Gus Rodeo, he's about the only one that can go underneath Yakov down in turn number 2. She's able to hold on to the lead, but here comes Rodeo. Does he have position on the brakes? Kayla's strong down here. No.
Well, Gus has been pretty strong down there going down into Charlotte's Web, as we have seen. But that time Kayla was able to kind of have the preferred places she would like to be on the track, and she was able to match the brakes there. And you can see now, here comes Joe Lamondre Jr. It looks like he's going to try to go down the inside of Gus Rodeo as they get to turn 8. Not quite close enough. Joe's another one of those guys that kind of just keeps everything kind of clean, doesn't really show his cards too much. And, you know, he's another rider that feels he can win this race.
So Lamondre, Bazooka Joe, he's on the 62. And Bazooka Joe on the Boss Racing JL62 Team Ninja 400. Definitely one of the future stars of our sport. One of the hardest working kids out of Garden City, New York. Lamondre Jr. focused on the future. What happens to some of these riders next season as they continue to race this up for the championship? The two contenders that we're looking at the most, of course, Gus Rodeo in second spot, and there's Wyman, the 34. On the Alpha Omega entry, he's kind of playing it smart right now, Jay. I really look at Cody Wyman. Obviously, he's able to do the pace.
Yes.
Now, the problem is passing people in a tight situation. You know, when you have third place trying to pass for second and fourth trying to pass for third, things can get a little dicey. As they lost a little bit of drive coming out of turn number 2. A little gap. Hopefully, they'll be able to make that up. As Gus Rodeo goes to the inside for the lead and a new fast lap by Joe Lamondre. Things are really starting to heat up here in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup.
You know, the other thing you really have to start thinking about, Greg, in these kind of conditions, it being at the end of the season and all, you got to start thinking about the possibility of a red flag, because if you're in this championship hunt, you know, we see where Cody is now. I like the fact that he's kind of kept his nose clean, but there, I think, has to be some strategy in there where he's got to start to position himself up front, take some chances to get himself up in that third, fourth area, to where if something like that was to come out and this race got called, he wouldn't be stuck back there in fifth, especially with Gus Rodeo up there battling as hard as he is for the front right now. So we'll see if Cody has that in the back of his mind at all to try to get himself a little bit more forward in this battle. I think how many laps did we do in this one?
11 laps.
11 laps. So we got 4 to go this time by.
What was interesting is after Yakov took that lead aggressively from Gus Rodeo, he had to look over his shoulder to see who was there. And what I found interesting was even that look over the shoulder, Rodeo didn't lose any time. I think he's got some speed that he's holding on to at the moment.
And we know he's good up and through this area. And here's this battle a little further back. Chase Black, Aiden Thau, Owen Williams. And Ryota Ujawara is actually in between all that. So he's running a relatively lonely race, the 14-year-old in 6th place at the moment. We saw him at Jersey as well. Here comes Gus Rodeo drafting, trying to get up alongside of Kayla again. But she's, like you say, Greg, she's really good under the brakes down there. Spencer Humphreys positions himself back up there into 3rd place.
I think the top 5, Jason, are pretty equal on their braking down in turn. That's why we haven't seen many passes, because no one's left themselves vulnerable for a pass down into Charlotte's Web.
No, that's exactly right. And it kind of seems like if you're a 3/4 track on your entry, here's the live championship on the bottom right hand of our screen. It would be 11 points going into tomorrow.
But there's so much left to be decided. And I just think that Wyman's got something that he's planning. He wants to see if there's any disaster of anybody up front. He's going to benefit the most from it all. But Wyman still has got to stay in touch and then start to execute his plan. As we have 3.5 laps to go, Jay, if you're Cody Wyman and you have something in mind, a strategy to move your way up front, when do you start executing?
I feel like, and Cody's got a lot more experience in this class than I do. He knows every one of these riders and their tendencies. I got to start to think with 3 to 2.5 laps to go. He's got to start to position himself a little bit further forward. So, that's going to be the interesting to see if Cody has the bike underneath him to be able to do that.
For Gus Rodeo in this championship, it's just one thing: win the race, get the most amount of points you can, and put as much pressure as you can on Wyman. As Kayla Yakov just goes fastest lap of the race, this deep into it with 3 to go, a 1:35.567 for the 31.
Yeah, and she's doing that on her own up at the front right now. So she's got to just continue to push the way she's pushing. And, she's been able to defend that position as they come down here into Charlotte's Web. She's been able to defend this spot under braking.
Lamondre trying to make a bit up the inside on Spencer Humphrey. So for Humphreys, Jason said it, coming down from the tri-state area to race here at Barber Motorsorts Park, and proving to all of us that Spencer Humphreys, at 19 years old, can be definitely a challenger for the #1 plate in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup in the future. But Gus Rodeo just latched on to the rear wheel of Kayla Yakov. Try not to let Yakov get away. But why not? Why not if you're Gus Rodeo? Let Kayla lead. If you think you have some speed, get that last lap pass. You don't know what's going on behind you with Cody Wyman. Gus says look back a couple times, but I haven't seen him look back lately.
Cody now is just a little bit closer. So looking at Cody now, he kind of got up to the back of them, and you can see when he was coming up over the top of that rise there, Cody was a lot closer. So with 2 to go, let's see if he starts making that charge. Kayla's got them covered in the last couple of corners here. She's able to get a big enough gap out of there to get away. Lamondre Jr. now makes a bid for 3rd place as he goes out underneath Spencer Humphreys. So Lamondre Jr. now, and you can see Cody making a direct line there into turn 2 as he has a little peek underneath Spencer Humphreys there in that turn 2, turn 3 area. Now it's head down and see if Gus can get this draft. Lamondre's going to get a nice pull along here as well. And it looks like they're going to try to battle Kayla down in there. Gus Rodeo is going to take the spot.
Oh, boy, Rodeo's in there deep. He gets it done. Humphrey's trying to go around the outside of Lamondre Jr. So Gus Rodeo, the question is it too early for him to make that move? Yakov out of the draft. Through the gear she goes. And she retakes that lead.
Yeah, and what's funny is that Gus did a good job there trying to defend that spot going down into turn 8. Kayla was able to get to the left side of him. Routinely, she's been going down the inside or trying to draft down the right side. She drafted down past the left. Now Lamondre Jr. is right up behind Gus Rodeo as they come out of here. He's trying to get a run on him. Look to have lost a little speed on the exit there. It's going to allow Spencer Humphreys to pull up alongside him on his outside.
Rodeo! Nice move on the inside to take that spot. Kayla's going to have to be thinking about that if she can get back around Rodeo as we're going to be heading to the white flag, the last lap. Rodeo looks like he's trying to pull the pin and really roll through these corners. Yakov trying to stay with him. A larger gap we've seen between these 5 riders right now than we have in the last 4 or 5 laps. Onto the front straightaway. White flag flies. This will be the last lap. Yakov in the draft. Definitely can't get there with that gap. If that was the last lap, it would have been win to Rodeo. Now we're going to see what kind of speed Gus has down into turn number 2.
Yeah, and fair play. He's got great speed, and it doesn't look like Cody can really do anything to move himself forward. In fact, this is going to be a fast lap. Look at Joe Lamondre Jr. rolls around the outside of Kayla, going down towards Charlotte's Web, positions himself in a good place. He's going to battle Gus Rodeo down on the brakes, and Kayla's going to slide back to 4th possibly here.
So Yakov, who led a bunch of laps, now she's relegated back. Is she going to be able to make up a position as she's been so strong under braking into the museum corner? But it's Gus Rodeo hung up on the outside. Yakov has got to roll out of it. She just wasn't in the position. Lamondre. And now it's Lamondre Jr. who takes over the lead.
Now Joe's going to have to get through this left-right as the best he's done all race, because Gus Rodeo has proven that he can draft back past before the turn 12 area. So you can see he's right behind. This is a spot where it looked like Joe lost some speed last time. He does it again.
And Yakov, does she go by for 2nd place? There goes Yakov up the inside. Another lead change. Our 15th lead change of this race on the final lap. Yakov has it. She's been so strong in this final sector. Lamondre, though, has been behind studying. Does he have the speed? As Cody Wyman still sits there in 5th spot. Here we go, the final corner. Lamondre tries to make a bid. He doesn't have it. Onto the front straightaway they go. Does Lamondre have a draft? He's got a good run on Yakov. Head behind the bubble. And here comes that big move to the line. And it's going to be Kayla Yakov by 32 thousandths of a second over Joe Lamondre. Gus Rodeo, Cody Wyman gets by Spencer Humphreys. Ryota Ojiwara, and now this battle between Chase Black, the 14, Aiden Dow, the 55. That's how they'll finish. Max Van in 9th and Hayden Bickneys. Jason, I think we're going to have to go to the tape.
Yeah, we're going to have to look at this one. It was close at the line.
All right, let's take a look at the finish. As we go to the tape, you can see Kayla Yakov to the line by half a bike length. What a win for Yakov.
What a year she's had, honestly. I mean, it's her 3rd win of the year, I believe.
That is incredible, Jason. If you think about that last lap and what happened, 15 lead changes in that race that I counted. I might have missed a few without question. But Kayla Yakov was in 4th place by the end of turn 5 on that last lap. What a racecraft, you have to say, by this young 15-year-old. 4th win of the year for Yakov. Can't wait to hear from our race winner how that one went. It certainly was exciting where we were sitting. How about from the saddle?
So Kayla Yakov, Jason said, thought it was the third, but it's actually her fourth victory now for 2022, her 10th podium of the season, and moving up those standings as well. She was 12 points behind Gus Rodeo for second. The difference between first and third is 14, right? So she is now second place in the championship. They've still got some work to do on Wyman, but it's almost everything. Those last question I asked you, I was like, we're going to see aggressiveness up front, and will we see too defensive of a Cody Wyman in fifth?
Yeah, we see him all the time hang out in the back. It just looked like he couldn't make his way forward. He did pick off Spencer Humphreys in the last lap.
So he did make it. And that one pass is a very big pass.
We've seen it. Championships this year, 1 point can make a huge difference. So
absolutely. And you know, he hung in fifth, and we knew he was just hanging out. And then when they lit the wick, I was like, he probably had to be going, oh man, they had a little more left in the tank as well.
Yeah, and maybe he didn't want to get caught up in that battle today in that. And, you know, luckily for him, Gus fell back to third. If Gus ended up winning that race, they go in tomorrow with it pretty close.
Yeah, single digits, 6 points or maybe 8 points. But Kayla Yakov, another win for her. Congratulations. Hey, she's still got another race tomorrow. Don't break any hands. Oh.
What a breakout season she's had.
Too fast, too tasty. I asked her, I mean, that's the Mission Foods program. How can you, one, be too fast or too tasty? Never been accused of either one of those. Good run by Joe Lamandry. I thought he had it. And Kayla got that double draft with Lamandry as well as Gus Rodeo there and enabled her to make that daring move into the lead.
All those top three guys really put themselves in a good position to be able to win that race. And it just comes down to that draft sometimes on the last lap. And Kayla's really starting to figure out where she needs to be on those last laps, and she's so good on the brakes.
Gus Rodeo has to be wondering, you know, what could he have done differently? How could he have been a little better? Heading into 8, we saw so many daring moves from Kayla Yakov throughout the race. He was even trying to get, you know, a little defensive there, trying to guard some of those spots. Really, really good race all around with our top 5.
Yeah, really good race. Even Spencer Humphreys, great ride for him as well.
Yeah, yep, and finishing 5th, but he was up there usually hanging around 2nd, 3rd, 4th for 95% of that race.
Looks like Kayla's passing out Capri Suns.
New sponsor? Possibly. You see her with the medallion leathers. I mean, she's right. She did not have this many sponsors at the start of the year.
They're growing quick.
Fast, right?
Yeah, if you want to get on board, you better jump now.
Gus Rodeo, good run by him.
Yeah, you can tell he's a little disappointed with that, though.
And he still has a chance at the title with 1 race to go. And, again, anything can happen with Cody Wyman. But he was trying to take care of business. And who knows, one more lap and he might have won this race, but even 1 lap prior, he had a chance of winning this race.
Nothing else he could have did. He was aggressive that last lap, tried to put himself in the right spots and just didn't work out. And I thought he rode a great race just making those passes and being aggressive.
Is it 12 where we saw that pass or the double? I mean, that's where he was making most of the moves. We saw Caleb ultimately make the move over in that area, getting by Joe Lamandry as well as Gus Rodeo, kind of a slingshot. That's a position deal, right? You don't have to be as fast as those guys. You just have to put yourself on that inside so they can't turn back in.
Yeah, and then sometimes you get in that draft and somebody pulls out and blocks you. You think you got a good run and they have a draft, and can just be difficult sometimes. But Kayla's really figuring it out this last half of the season. Last year she won her first race in the wet. We thought she was just a wet weather specialist. Fast forward to 1 year, wins the race in the dry.
Well, she didn't win, right? She was going to win and kept finishing 2nd. Her first win, remember, we thought her first win was this year at Atlanta.
Oh, yeah, her first podium.
Yeah, first podium. Yeah,
was last year.
It was almost a win. Yeah, it was almost a win.
Her first podium was last year in the wet.
This is kind of the redemption race, wouldn't you say then? I mean, taking the victory for this, and it could have happened last year.
Yep.
Good run.
Last year in the rain is when she really showed her potential in the wet.
Yeah, and now she's
first podium.
And she didn't want that Cam Peterson feel. You know, Cam says, you know, I've done it in the wet. I just want to prove to everybody that I can win in the dry. That's the same thing that Kayla's been doing this year.
And she's proved it.
Whether it's wet or dry, she's a winner, a 4-time winner at MotoAmerica in the juniors. We're going to hear from her here in just a bit downstairs.
STG Junior Cup coverage is sponsored by SportbikeTrackGear.com, the motorcycle apparel and parts specialists. By Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series. And by Geico. where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car or motorcycle insurance.
Jason, let's take a look at the finish, because this is like full send mode. I don't think anybody in this top 4 understands they're racing for a championship. Maybe Cody does.
Yeah,
but they were just ripping it.
I mean, yeah, but we have a really mature group of kids here that are fast, and they
STG Junior Cup coverage is sponsored by SportbikeTrackGear.com, the motorcycle apparel and parts specialists. By Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series. And by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car or motorcycle insurance.
A look at the finish, and Jason, this was absolutely nuts. I mean, what championship's on the line? Apparently they don't know.
No, exactly right. And it's, it was important for Kayla to win, Gus to win, all of them. They all had to beat Cody, and that's the 3 people that had to beat him. All were able to do that today. That said, Cody did really well. Shout out to Spencer Humphreys, but how about Kayla with her 4th win of the year and doing it that way? That's a great result.
So it's Jakob by 32 thousandths, then Gus Rodeo right there. So the top 3 within half a second, then Cody and Spencer. Let's get right down to Hannah with our winner.
Another masterful performance from Kayla Yakov, this time in the dry. What a race, Kayla. You led quite a few laps there, more than anybody else, and you were not about to give it up to anyone on the last lap. Take us through it.
Full send, baby, let's go! That was amazing. I've never made it past that great. I mean, I didn't think I was gonna make it, honestly. I had a lot of rear grip issues going through that corner, so kind of just went in and went for it. And I have nothing to lose. I guess I have something to lose, but not really, so just going for it. I love this place. It's my favorite track in the world, and yeah, I was really happy to get it done.
Kayla Yakov, today's STG race winner.
Yeah, full send is the name of the game, and Yakov gets it done. You have to look to the future and think that SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup next year, Yakov is definitely a title contender. Let's get back down to Hannah.
Second place today goes to Joseph Lamondre Jr. Joe, you got out front there right at the end. You tried to take the lead. It didn't quite work out for you. What was the strategy?
It was a great race. Gus, Kayla, Spencer, and Cody were ripping. I pushed real hard. The bike felt real good under me. We got some changes I want to make for tomorrow's race, but from other than that, I feel good. The bike feels good, and I'm excited for tomorrow. Huge thanks to the Boss Racing Cyber State Solutions team. Everyone coming out here to support. I have a championship I'm fighting for, so on to tomorrow, and I'm excited.
Your second place finisher, Joe Lamondre Jr.
Can't say enough about how smart that ride was. He held his cards close to him until the last lap.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And, for Joe, he's got so close on a couple occasions to winning these races that those points that he's talking about, he's still in the hunt, Greg. So we'll see how that goes. Hannah?
Rounding out our STG Junior Cup podium is Gus Rodeo. You gained 3 points on your deficit to Cody Wyman, finishing 3rd with him in 4th behind you. Does this give you any peace of mind before tomorrow's race?
Yeah, it could have gone a lot worse. I'm happy to be up on the podium. I'm happy to make up any points at all. And that last lap was crazy. I didn't know, where to be. I felt like I was going to get drafted anywhere I was. So, I thought I got out there on that curbing, and I didn't know what to expect, but happy to bring it home on the podium. Thank you to all my sponsors that come out here every week and help me chase this dream. Luckstar VIP, Geoscape Solar, HJC, Moto Liberty. Thank you, Audrey, for helping me out always, and my whole rodeo racing team. I appreciate you guys. Hope you're doing all right, Lenny. He's in the hospital at the moment, and stay strong.
Congrats, Gus.
Gus Rodeo is getting it done. So here's a look at the championship as we go to our final race. It's 17, and Kayla Yakov only 20 back, and Lamondre, well, he's out of it in this one. 25 points only left, so we have 3. Well, that was an exciting SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup race, and we got another one coming up You do not want to miss it. Who's going to win this championship? We can't wait to find out.